Welcome. This is Flame Christian and Community Radio. We have a wonderful live studio guest with us, an interview all the way from Bethlehem. It's our journalist and friend of the studio, Paul Calvert, who lives out there in Bethlehem, who has a new book called The Trafalgar Square Christmas Tree, launching, you guessed it, tomorrow, which is a massive milestone. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Lovely to be with you again. How is everybody?
Everything's doing really, really well. We're about 5 minutes away from where Jesus is born, and we're getting the feeling of Christmas starting to come now.
Has the Christmas tree come up in Bethlehem?
It's partially up. They build it every year, so they don't use a real one. They use a metal frame and they build it that way. So they've sort of half built it, so it's not quite ready yet.
And I know that out there in Bethlehem, they do lots of beautiful Christmas stalls and nativities, etc. Do they do all of that?
We'll have a Christmas fair this year. Of course, over the last 2 years, it's been very, very difficult because of the war. So they haven't done some of the normal things that they would do. So for the last 2 years, we didn't have a Christmas tree, we didn't have lights. So this year is going to be getting back into the celebration. I don't know, I haven't spoken to the mayor yet, but I have a feeling it might be a little bit more low-key. But it'd be nice just to get back and have the Christmas tree there, have the nativity outside, and just really sort of feel a little bit more Christmassy again.
That was wonderful. But we're excited because you have your new book come out, The Trafalgar Square Christmas Tree. It's being launched tomorrow. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I wrote this book in December 2023. So this was actually just after the terror attacks on Israel. So Israelis were actually feeling very, very bad. And of course, it launched into war into Gaza. But also Palestinians were really struggling as well because Bethlehem is built on tourism. So when the war happened, the tourism died and many people lost their jobs. So that was the environment and atmosphere of actually when I wrote this book. I wrote it over the Christmas period. So I had Christmas holiday. I wrote a chapter every single day for about 9 days. I just put this book together. So it was just really a joy to do that. I've been trying to change things over the years of how I celebrate Christmas and putting in traditions into my life. So one tradition I have is I watch Are You Being Served over Christmas, because I really enjoy that. And they have a few Christmas episodes. So I do that. And sometimes I always feel like, well, I'm watching way too much television. So I started listening to Christmas stories and just enjoying Christmas story. So this year in 2023, I was able to actually write my own Christmas story. And that's where it came about over the 9 days of Christmas. Many years ago, I used to work in a Christian book warehouse, and we used to distribute books all around the world. So now my book is hopefully going to be distributed all around the world as well.
That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So it took you 9 days. What a gift that is. And we didn't know that you worked in a Christian bookstore, so that's great as well. But are you allowed to share a little bit with us about what's the content?
You're just going to get a good classic story, sort of a good versus evil. And the story is basically about a Christmas tree that lived in Norway and had the ambition of being the Trafalgar Square Christmas tree. So he worked hard at being the Trafalgar Square Christmas tree. And this took him on an adventure to come to London. And things didn't always quite go to plan for the Christmas tree. As you read the book, you'll see what happened and what went wrong and everything. So just a bit of fun. From that, last year, which was 2024, I wrote a second book. Right at the end of the first book, I left a little bit where the king was in the story and his aide came up to him and said, "Oh, king, there's something wrong with your Christmas pudding." And we sort of left it like that. So then on the second book, I've written about the king's Christmas pudding, and it's all about a mix-up. So the king orders a Christmas pudding, and by mistake, his Christmas pudding goes up onto the International Space Station, and the thing that was supposed to go to the International Space Station goes to the king. So then you get to read all about this adventure. And we also bring Evergreen, the Christmas tree, into this as well. So that both characters are there, the king and the Christmas tree. And that's just a great, great adventure. I actually like book 2 better than book 1. that's my own personal opinion, that I think it's a much nicer story. Then this year, we're going to write book 3. I already have it in my mind. Last year, I wrote that over Christmas period as well. And then this year, we're going to write this over the Christmas period. So with the first book, when I wrote it over the Christmas period, it was nearly all written in Bethlehem. And then one day I wanted to go shopping into Jerusalem. So I got the bus and came to Jerusalem, but I was way too early for the shops to be open. So I just sat there near Jaffa Gate and wrote a chapter of my book in Jerusalem. So everything except for one chapter was written in Bethlehem. And then on the second book, the same sort of thing happened. I wrote all the chapters in Bethlehem, but then my friend wanted to go to Nablus because he had the possibility of getting a scholarship to go and study in Budapest. So he had to go and sort out his papers. So I came with him and we went to Ramallah and he handed his paperwork in. I sat in the car and it was absolutely pouring down. So I wrote a chapter of my book just in the car while I was waiting for him to do all the things that he was doing. So all of it was written in Bethlehem both times, except for one chapter. One was written in Jerusalem and one was written in Ramallah. So I don't know where I'm going to do that one chapter this next time when I do this year's book here in Bethlehem.
That is super. That is so super. The fact that you've got 3 books almost ready, the third is on its way. Let's talk about the Trafalgar Square Christmas tree first. It's often the case, isn't it, when you start something that the second is even better and it gets better and better. Totally understand that. But isn't it launched tomorrow? Is that right? And where can people find this fabulous book?
It's on Olympia Publishers and it's through Bumblebee Books. And you can find it on Amazon. So if you go onto Amazon UK, you'll find my book on Amazon UK. If you live in America, it's on Barnes and Noble, so you're able to go there and order it through there as well. So the big place, of course, is Amazon. So it's right there on Amazon. It's also on Olympia Publishers as well. You'll be able to see it on there as well.
Congratulations. It must be wonderful to actually see it out there coming from your heart now in book form all together and actually available for everybody to get. But about the second one, the King's Christmas Pudding, do you know when you will be launching that one as well?
Well, that is in the process. That is getting ready to be published. I think it's maybe going to be ready early in 2026. But the reality is I don't really want it to come out too early because you want it to sort of come out ready just before Christmas. So hopefully it will be ready maybe September next year. That will be ready to purchase as well and ready for the Christmas season. One of the great things about writing a book like this in Bethlehem is the capital of Christmas because this is where Christmas started. So the very place where Christmas started, the very place where Jesus was born is 5 minutes away from here. And you're writing a book all about Christmas and a Christmas adventure as well. So it's just really nice.
It's a very different story than in the UK, actually being in the place where Jesus Christ was born, where he walked, etc. Paul, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with us, and I'm sure we'll speak to you over the Christmas period, but we want to wish you and everybody out there in Bethlehem and Jerusalem and all over the Middle East a God bless, Merry Christmas, but also well done and congratulations for your first book, second book, and coming on to third book.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners as well.
Okay, we'll catch up soon. Thanks so much, Paul.
God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.